The Apprentice Warden is the newest troop coming to Clash of Clans. It is unlocked at Town Hall 13 within the new level 10 Dark Barrack for a 13-day, 13 million elixir build. So let's explain everything you need to know from the mechanics to the best strategy for it. So the Apprentice Warden is basically a miniature Grand Warden. They have similar characteristics minus the Eternal Tome ability. However, the Apprentice Warden only has 4 levels. Level 2 is unlocked at Town Hall 13, Level 3 at Town Hall 14, and Level 4 at Town Hall 15. Its max HP is set to 1,950, and it will deal 215 damage, similar to that of the Level 30 Grand Warden at Town Hall 12. In addition, it has a life aura field that will increase the HP of troops, heroes, and seed machines within it. There is no cap to the life aura of the Apprentice Warden, unlike the Grand Warden, but it will only offer a max HP increase by 30%. Keep in mind that the use of multiple Apprentice Wardens will not stack with one another, so only one aura can be active at one time. It also will not stack with the Grand Warden if his aura is better. The Apprentice Warden also costs a total of 20 housing space, similar to that of the regular dragon, meaning that this might be a troop that you only bring 1 or 2 in rather than just bringing in 6. Now, how the life aura works of the Apprentice Warden is if, for instance, a troop has 500 HP, it will only get a total of 150 more HP from the Apprentice Warden, since that's around 30%. This means that the Grand Warden's life aura will overtake the Apprentice Warden's since he has a 90%, so his is considered the better aura. So usually the Grand Warden is better with troops that have around less than 2,000 HP. However, if the troop has 10,000 HP, for instance, then it will get 3,000 more with the Apprentice Warden. Since the Apprentice Warden does not have a cap, unlike the Grand Warden, who has 575 HP for its cap, it means that it is way stronger than the Grand Warden if you were to pair this with the Barbarian King, a P.E.K.K.A, or even an Electro Titan. They get a bigger HP increase than just with the Grand Warden. It's considered the better life aura. Town Hall 10, Town Hall 11, and Town Hall 12 players will be able to request the Apprentice Warden within their clan castle, but beware, their count might be limited due to their housing space cost. So in comparison to the Grand Warden, the Apprentice Warden has less range than the Grand Warden, similar to that of the Archer Queen at 5 tiles. It can do a decent amount of damage over time, but it will do significantly less damage versus high HP buildings like storages and the Town Hall. So the Grand Warden will get through those much quicker. Not only this, but the life aura is also smaller than the Grand Warden at 7 tiles compared to the Grand Warden's 10 tiles. And of course, the Grand Warden has the Eternal Tome ability that the Apprentice Warden is still learning. But that gives you time to subscribe and ring the bell. As for the defensive clan castle, the better aura is still in effect, so using more than one Apprentice Warden typically isn't going to stack any HP increase like I mentioned earlier. However, for 20 housing space, in my personal opinion, he really is not worth it at all. He does not offer much, and he does so little damage to attacking troops and heroes, making him just more of filler space that you could easily sub in for something else. Of course, this means that the defensive Grand Warden will always beat him in every aspect, not only providing a longer range than his attack, but also having a better HP increase with the current meta defensive CCs like super minions. And of course, the Grand Warden just does way more damage. So let's give you the pros and cons of using the Apprentice Warden, starting with the main advantage being the HP increase for tanks that have more than 2,000 HP, such as an Electro Titan or P.E.K.K.A. Since this also has the same range as the Archer Queen, it can work incredibly well in Queen Charge attacks and give your queen more HP than that of the Grand Warden. Of course, it can also work really well as a replacement to 2 witches, since that's around the same housing space as 1 Apprentice Warden, and it will also increase the HP of your Barbarian King. It can even be paired with a Siege Barrack that will buff the P.E.K.K.A.s, the Wizards, and or the King's HP with them moving through and creating a funnel. However, there are multiple disadvantages, one of which includes the housing space. For 20 housing space, you're not going to bring any more than 2 without sacrificing space. His aura doesn't really perform better than the Grand Warden in certain attacks such as Hybrid, Mass Hog, or even Lavaloon as an example, even though he is a ground-only unit, which means he can't really be paired up with air attacks without being targeted by cannons. So, what is one of the better ways of using the Apprentice Warden? Well, one of which is a Queen Charge attack. In my opinion, this is the better option. We tested this out at Town Hall 13 and it's pretty strong. All you want to do with this is use your Apprentice Warden with your Queen Charge, and that's really it on one particular side. He supports her via the HP buff alongside damage, since he does a decent amount of chit damage alongside the Archer Queen. Since they have the same range, the healers will be able to heal both at the exact same time, and he can also tank for a little bit in some situations where he might go up just a little bit ahead of the Archer Queen. But this is really why you're able to get a little bit deeper into the base thanks to the Apprentice Warden, since that 30% increase in HP is actually going to make a huge difference early on, allowing your Archer Queen to get deeper into the base. This is where you can use a second Apprentice Warden with your Barbarian King and Siege Barrack. Since the Apprentice Warden mostly buffs the tankier units, the Barbarian King and the P.E.K.K.A. will have more HP, allowing them to funnel better, which then allows your main Grand Warden to move in with the Hogs, the Miners, and the Royal Champion. Since the Hogs and Miners get a better buff with the main Grand Warden, it's going to allow you to move through a heal spell early on like any traditional Queen Charge hybrid, and then once you get closer to the core of the base, you then want to use your Grand Warden ability. Having the healers move in with the hybrid is really nice. It keeps the Miners and the Hog Riders alive, and within the Clan Castle, you can typically run either Hog Riders, Valkyries, Yetis, or even the new Super Hog Rider. Just being able to provide a lot of support on the early stages with the Apprentice Wardens gives your main Grand Warden a bigger sort of target, which allows your hybrid to still move through, so you don't really need to worry so much. So you're technically having 3 Grand Wardens at different times, but you're using them basically, 2 of which to create the funnel and 1 to support your main army that's going to take advantage of it. And that is what's going to help you get a 3-star with this more often, just making sure that you're able to move through. And in my opinion, this is a strategy that you might want to learn, especially adding on the Apprentice Warden. With that being said, that is everything coming in this update. Make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss Apprentice Warden or Super Hog Rider breakdown videos for different Town Hall levels. And of course, make sure to check out my Super Hog Rider video if you still don't understand what the Super Hog Rider is or how it works, and I'll see you there.